Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly, and welcome everybody once again for another amazing video of DIY investing. The Hinman Documents are set to be released to Ripple. This is huge news in the overall lawsuit against the SEC. We've all been waiting so many months to hear any sort of finalization against this. We've all been hearing about how this was major damning evidence against the SEC, and if they could actually get these documents, how it was going to ultimately bring the case against them to its knees, and then we were ultimately going to win. If this is the case, what does this mean for the XRP price chart? Are we going to see some major price expansion? That's what I'm expecting. I'm going to break it down looking at the long-term market cycles so that you guys can make the most money possible moving forward from here. If you're new and just find this channel, make sure you guys do me a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these amazing videos. And with that being said, let's jump right into it today. The judge has ordered the SEC to turn over the Hinman documents over to the Ripple Labs, and what this means, guys, this is such big news. We've all been waiting so long for the release of these, if we were actually going to get a release from these. The SEC has been holding on to this like dear life. They are not trying to let these go, and so now that it's finally passed through legislation, what does this mean for the price chart? Well, here's the big thing. Let's go through here and read this for you guys. Ripple Labs scored a victory in its continuing legal battle with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission on September 29th, as U.S. District Judge Annalisa Torres ruled to release the documents written by former SEC Corporation Finance Division Director William Hinman. The documents predominantly relate to a speech Hinman delivered at the Yahoo Finance All Market Summit in June of 2018. Hinman stated in his speech that Ether was not a security. Ripple Labs considers the speech a key piece of evidence the case of the SEC has brought against it, alleging that the sales of Ripple XRP violated the U.S. securities laws. Though time has yet to tell whether the language used in this speech will be meaningful, as the company suggests, the circumstances surrounding the speech and Hinman's actions leading up to it are a source of considerable confusion. So they believe that something inside of the language of this document and the speech that was given is going to be some sort of major advantage for them to ultimately win. Apparently the guy just gave a speech and it was directed towards ETH and how it was not a security, and that's kind of been used against them in this entire legal battle. And so Ripple thinks that by having this document, they're basically going to be able to prove that that is not the case, that the language used inside of that document was just basically phony, and they're going to be able to use that in their case to win over the lawsuit against the SEC. So here we go against this. Let's talk about the XRP price chart and break down what I believe is happening as far as the market cycle goes, because this is where I believe that the most understanding can be made. It's important to look at all things. When we're looking at fundamental events, this is a big thing. This is one of the biggest things we've ever seen in crypto, because this is a literal cryptocurrency inside of our market, one of our top cryptos of all time. Been around here one of the longest inside of our market as well. This is a fight against the SEC. It's a literal lawsuit and a battle against the SEC, and so it's going to prove so many different things. It's going to literally lay the foundation for so many of these different cryptos, so many future laws to be passed in legislation. I don't think people fully grasp or understand the real gravity of the situation here and just how important this really is. Now, you don't have to be an XRP fan. You can hate on XRP for being a banker's coin, all of the different things against it, whatever, it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, if XRP actually does win this case against the SEC, in my opinion, it's going to create a big price expansion to the upside. So let's talk about it. Let's explain what we're going to be seeing in the long term, and let's explain what it looks like as far as the market cycle. Now, the first chart here on the right is going to be the emotional psychology of a market cycle, and the one on the bottom is going to be the valuation of a market cycle. So what I want to talk to you guys about this is both of them here. Now, we can see both being played out over the long-term trend, and a lot of people are writing off so many different altcoins from 2017 basically because they never broke new all-time highs like maybe Ethereum did, like maybe Dogecoin did, like maybe some of these other cryptos, Binance Coin. You know, there was other cryptos that made new all-time highs, but a lot of these older altcoins didn't. So a lot of people are writing them off entirely. And I believe that this is honestly just an example of what we're seeing repeated on a big picture market cycle. Now, what we're looking at here on the emotional psychology is an example of the disbelief phase. This is where nobody believes XRP is actually going to be taking off in any sort sort of meaningful way. Now that the lawsuit has happened, we're over a year past that, because that happened right here. So it caused this big sell-off right there. After this lawsuit that happened, nobody was even ever expecting XRP to take off. Even everybody wrote it off back down in here, right? But when Dogecoin broke out and started flipping resistance, XRP was breaking out at the same time. And it was literally the lawsuit that caused it, in my opinion, to have such a lackluster performance. I believe this would have made a new all-time high in the same way that Dogecoin or Ethereum did, or many of the others did. It's one of the top performing altcoins of all time, and it has some of the biggest adoption of all time as well. So these are all different reasons for why it makes sense why the SEC would come out and try and sue them, because he's trying to suppress the development of XRP and Ripple. He's not doing that so much in the likes of Ethereum, because then he went and joined the Ethereum companies, and we saw that happen. We literally saw all of that take place right after he filed the lawsuit. It was his last day in office as a member of the SEC. He left, he joined Ethereum-based companies, and he was a member of directors on their board. So that's just the crazy stuff that happens inside of these markets. It's so amazing how this lawsuit's even continuing, because in my opinion, Ripple will win this, and when they win this, it's going to do wonders for the price chart. And what we're seeing in the price chart is an example, an exact reflection of what we're seeing as far as the lawsuit playing out. In the disbelief phase, nobody believes it's going to be taking off, right? We didn't make a brand new all-time high. We stopped, we consolidated all the way back down to near this 30-cent region. And now, even though we're kind of breaking out of this descending resistance, everybody has completely forgotten about XRP, right? In my opinion, if we can get a nice bounce inside of the market like we're already seeing, and this holds support, we're going to make a run upwards of 45 billion, which I can't remember the exact price on XRP, but I think it would be upwards of like 60 cents, something like that. Anyways, guys, this is going to be a big move coming, in my opinion. And what we're seeing is a big picture market cycle playing out. I'm not meaning to talk about this short time frame, but what we are seeing is the potential of a major breakout of our long-term downtrend. If that's the case, then it would fit so perfectly that this is the disbelief phase of a market cycle. We would break out, be making our first higher high, and that was our last cycle. Our last cycle was just the first higher high. And if you look back, there's actually a lot of altcoins that did this. Many of the best performing altcoins of 2017 created a similar cycle as this. In my opinion, XRP was suppressed pretty heavily, and many of the other ones rallied a little bit harder, like Ethereum. They made all-time highs. Some of the other ones went even closer to their all-time highs. Many of them barely pierced them. But they were all pretty consistent for the most part. Many of the 2017 altcoins followed the same stuff. So now that we're seeing the same kind of thing with a lot of these altcoins grouping up, those 2017 altcoins in that era, in my opinion, a lot of people are writing them off, and many of them are inside of this disbelief phase. And I think that with the last cycle being a little bit smaller than prior bull markets that we've seen in year past, it's caused a lot of people to write off many of the cryptos. I don't believe that that's going to be the case heading into our next cycle. I believe that a lot of these are inside of this disbelief rally, and this is our first higher high in the new bull trend. And the next move coming, if we're going to throw it back, let's actually take a look at XRP here all the way back in the early days, and let's actually go to the dollar chart, because it's an actual it's a little bit easier to tell what was going on. So we're looking at the Bitstamp chart to get all of the price history. But what we're seeing, in my opinion, is honestly a really close example of that first cycle. Now, inside of our first cycle, we had our first pump, we had our bear market, and then after our bear market, this was our first rally. We went close up to those previous all-time highs, but then we ended up having this big correction back down, right? ABC correction back down. Then we make this first higher high. And that's literally what led us into that massive 2017 alt run. And in my opinion, what we're seeing really isn't that far off from that exact same sort of pattern. It's just taking much lengthier amounts of time to get it. This still is a market cycle, but it's just a first impulse of a market cycle. You're not always going to get these massive 2017 alt crazes, and it takes lengthier periods of accumulation to get them. Yes, some of the altcoins broke out, but many of the altcoins that made these type of market cycles had never even had a market cycle prior. All of the altcoins that had prior market cycles, many of them just created first leg up in their cycles. This is just the first impulse of a new trend. So it doesn't matter which altcoin it is, they all created different sized ones. And in my opinion, the next market cycle that's coming is going to be massive, and is going to be where we start following closer to this 2017 type of fractal. Where we're at is literally down here still. The only difference is it's just taken a lot lengthier period of time to get the same sort of 2017 bull runs. And that's the only thing that I can see is different inside of our cycles. It would make sense why Bitcoin wasn't quite as parabolic as prior bull markets have seen, and it would make sense why other altcoins weren't as well. Yes, everybody can give the argument that many of them are dead. You could even give the argument that XRP is dead. I don't believe that's going to be the case by any means, and what I believe is happening it's pretty much the same stuff. It's just taking a much greater period of time to get it. And so now let's actually talk about the valuation of a market cycle, because in my opinion, this really explains a lot as far as talking about where we're at in our big picture. Now, remember inside of our Wall Street cheat sheet and emotional psychology, the very beginning, or the takeoff phase, this is where smart money gets into the market. It's when nobody really believes in the cycle at all, nobody's really expecting it to ever do anything whatsoever, and it's pretty much the same as when Bitcoin was in its 14K market cycle. When Bitcoin rallied up to 14K, corrected all the way back down, in my opinion, that's the exact same sort of sentiment. It was in the stealth phase, and even earlier than that, right? XRP in the stealth phase would have been this period right here. And in my opinion, it's this entire first move. And if you're accumulating it, that's where smart money is. And then what you have here is the first sell-off, and then we go into this big trend. In my opinion, the first sell-off inside of XRP's last cycle, we're not even there yet in this cycle. That was right here. That was our first major breakout into new all-time highs, right? This was the first sell-off, and then this is the final blow-off top, right? And XRP had one of the biggest blow-off tops that we saw. In fact, it was one of the best performing, if not the best performing altcoin of 2017. I don't remember specifically. Now, when we're looking at this chart, we see all of this reciprocated inside of the chart as well. The chart over here, as well as the chart of XRP. This is the first sell-off. This is this move right here. Media attention, enthusiasm, public greed, delusion, new paradigm. Right? And then we start this bear market. And we can see here that it followed the exact same means on the bear market as well. And that's why it's important that we understand market cycles, because as everybody's riding off XRP right now, and now that we have some of this major news that the Hinman documents are going to be released, so now that it's set to release, we all are going to be wondering, is it actually going to be meaningful? Are we going to win the lawsuit? How is that going to factor in? And if we win the lawsuit, and if XRP is deemed not a security, in my opinion, we're going to have a huge market cycle that will play out. And what we've seen thus far is XRP literally playing out kind of to the same degree. Keep in mind here that in the bear market, despair in the very bottom of the cycle is where we pretty much sell through this mean trend line, right? This was our trend line of the cycle, and then this is despair, where we capitulate below that. And then that's what starts our new cycle. And that's what leads into really the disbelief phase. Nobody really believes in XRP. And now that this stuff's starting to play out, in my opinion, this gives XRP a huge advantage and a fundamental reason for why many of the American exchanges are going to readopt it, relist it on their exchanges, why it should bring a lot more adoption inside of the market as well, and why it's literally going to pave the way for future legislation inside of the cryptocurrency market. So guys, if you found value in this video, make sure you guys do me a favor by leaving the like, comment, and subscribing. If you guys want to join the Discord server, download my free ebook. Links are in the description for all of this stuff. You guys can find any type of information, my course, my signals. If you guys want to follow all my trades that I post inside of the Discord, anything that I'm going to be investing in, links are in the description for that as well. Thank you guys so much for the support of this channel, and with that being said, I will catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.